Alright, in this video, I'm going to be going over the tomato seeds I'm growing for the year 2024. Last year I made a video titled Tomato Seeds I'm Growing for 2023. So if you want to check that out, you can. It may have a little bit more detail in it than this one's going to have because there's only two changes I'm actually making this year in my tomatoes varieties. Two different changes I'm making this year, and I'm keeping the others the same. So I got 7 different varieties, which is what I believe I had last year, but 2 of them are different, but one of them is only slightly different. So let's start with the one that's the most different. And this is actually going to work out because I actually got all my seeds this year from 3 different companies: Burpees, Baker's Creek, also known as rareseeds.com, as well as Johnny's. So I thought this would be a little helpful. You can kind of see where the seeds are coming from. Of course, I'll have links in the description of where to buy them from. So the first one is our cherry tomato, is what we're changing this year. This is the Black Pearl. It's a hybrid. So, if you do save the seeds from this, it's probably not going to give you the same thing. So you probably do need to purchase new seeds. It's a cherry tomato. It has a blackish, it's a red tomato that has like a black purple undertone to it. It's rated extremely well. It has like over 40 reviews on burpees.com. I think it's rated 4.3 stars. A lot of people say it's one of their favorites to grow. It's supposed to have like 2 different flavors. So if your normal, flavor right off the vine, and if you put it in the refrigerator, it supposedly has like a Concord grape flavor. I kind of say it's probably some nonsense. But some of the people also in reviews said, it doesn't taste like a Concord grape when you put it in the refrigerator. But anyway, people overall really like it. And the variety I'm giving up, was the Napa Chardonnay or Napa Champagne cherry tomato, which I have grown for several years. I really liked, but I really got fed up with the fact that it splits so easily. The skin is so thin, it's almost translucent, and the shelf life is just absolutely terrible. And many of them just completely split on the plant. When you pick them, the skin would split. The skin's just too thin, and I just trying to move on to something. Hopefully it's going to have a little bit better shelf life and stability, and it's not going to break down as fast. So Black Pearl Hybrid is the cherry tomato I'm growing this year, and that is one of the new varieties I'm growing. The other one that's a little bit different is the Lemon Boy Plus. So the last couple of years I have grown the Lemon Boy tomato, which is a hybrid. This is the Lemon Boy Plus, which of course is also obviously a hybrid. Lemon Boy Plus is an improvement on Lemon Boy apparently in all categories. So it's supposed to have significantly better disease resistance, even though I found the disease resistance on the Standard Lemon Boy to be very good. I'm also used to growing mostly heirlooms, so typically any hybrid is going to have better disease resistance. But disease resistance is very good, but it's supposed to be better. It's supposed to have a better flavor, so it's higher up on the sugar scale, so it's supposed to be sweeter, but also has still the tanginess to it, but a sweeter flavor overall, and a little bit larger and more uniform size. With regular boy, I thought the flavor was decent. It had pretty good uniform size, but this is supposed to be improvement in all categories. Obviously, I don't know, this is my first year growing it, but I will make a video about it. I believe I did make a video about the Lemon Boy tomato all by itself as well. So that's through Johnny's. And the other one with Johnny's, since we're talking about that company, is the Jolene tomato, which last year is my first year growing it. It did extremely well. It's a red tomato, also a hybrid. I actually had a separate video I made about this one, but the size was very uniformed. Had great shelf life, very disease resistant. And it's a determinate tomato, it actually produced all season long, and it just held in there. It's more of a bush style, so it's nice about determinants. There's no need to prune it. So maybe you want to prune your bottom ones off that are touching the dirt. Other than that, with determinants, you kind of just leave them alone. Versus indeterminates, those keep going and going and going. So it kind of sets up bushy side. It just put out a ton of tomatoes, and it did really well. Great disease resistance, fantastic disease resistance, great shelf life, and just a great tomato that you can kind of keep on a counter and hold a while. And if you do pick them slightly green, they actually do ripen very well on windowsill, and shelf life is just really good on those. So I think I'll probably continue growing that, because it's nice to have a tomato you can kind of count on, and always have a tomato you can slice up and is available. So let's go over to our Baker's Creek, also known as rareseeds.com. And obviously these are all going to be open pollinated varieties. These are seeds you can save, but I'm going to cover something on that with this Black Beauty tomato. So I had saved the seeds for this for a few years, but last year I noticed the performance, something was off. It seemed to be very prone to disease. The size was small. The fruit quality was definitely not that great. And I'm wondering if it had gotten cross-pollinated with something else, another tomato, and it got off its game because of that. That's always a risk when you're saving seeds, when you're growing other varieties that you can cross-pollinate with, growing all these different tomatoes. I mean, that is a risk if you're saving seeds, which is a lot of people who grow seeds to sell seeds. They're only going to grow like one variety of tomato in a certain plot for that reason. So I did purchase new seeds this year. Black Beauty tomato, great tomato, been around for a long time. Obviously, it's the darkest, blackest tomato you can get. Great flavor. Only thing I can really say about it, which I find kind of irritating, I think you can get a little clickbaity with it. When does this tomato ripen? It's simply on the bottom, it's green, just like a standard tomato is, and when it's ripe, it turns to a pinkish red color. So anyone says, oh, how do you tell when it's ripe? It's pinkish red on the bottom. It's not purple black all the way down. Super simple, and I really wish people would stop with the clickbait of making that tomato way more complicated than what it is. There's really nothing to it. It's just a great flavor tomato that looks different with a nice deep color on the inside. I'll continue growing it because it's the first heirloom open pod variety tomato I grew since I started gardening at this house in 2015. So I'm going to continue with the Black Beauty tomato. Another one we have here is the Kellogg Breakfast. This will be, I think, year number 3 growing it, and probably just going to stick with it. It grows really well. It's a large tomato, kind of a beef steak. Shelf life could be a little bit better, but it makes a fantastic tomato soup. My wife doesn't even really like tomatoes. She does like tomato soup, but she really likes to make tomato soup with this variety. Of course, you get orange tomato soup instead of red, but the flavor is really good, and it performs fairly well for an open pollinated heirloom variety. And I'm going to continue to grow the Kellogg's Breakfast orange tomato. Of course, we have our great white tomato. Did get some new seeds this year. I've probably been using the same seeds for 3 years now. Large white tomato. It does get like a yellowish warm tone on the outside, but it really is more white than yellow, especially when you cut the inside. It's white on the inside when it's ripe. They get very large, 1 pound all day, every day. You could easily push one of these tomatoes, especially if you were to prune the plant. If you were trying to grow, like how big of a tomato can I grow? You can easily go to the 2 pounds, easily into the 2 pounds with the great white tomato. Very large. One thing bad I can say about them, when they're picked fully ripe, the shelf life, not the best, but I typically find that with most heirloom, especially beefsteak large tomatoes, the very large tomatoes, their shelf life tends to not be the best. Maybe that's just because there's very high water content in them. I'm not sure, but I do like that tomato. It's something different to grow, very large. And I don't have a pack for it. I saved the seeds for this, and they turned out fine last year, so I didn't get a new pack. And that's the Genoveae Italian tomato. It's a red tomato. Once again, of course, open pollinated heirloom. It has a unique shape to it, not the best for tomato slices, but I use a lot of Italian cooking. I'm probably going to continue. I don't know. I may think about trying to replace it next year. It does okay. I find like this one actually does a little bit better if there is some shade. It definitely starts to, as the summer gets hotter, it tends to get unhappy. But it does produce a unique shaped tomato. It has some good flavor to it. Like I said, really not the best for sandwich slicing. The way it's shaped, you kind of end up wasting quite a bit, but good for cooking. We make a lot of tomato sauces. We freeze them and stuff like that. So those are the varieties I'm growing for 2024. Like I said, you have a video of 2023 where I covered pretty much all these, plus a different cherry tomato and the regular Muslim Boy Plus. Of course, in the video, in the description of the video, there will be links to purchase all these seeds. I'm not going to leave anybody hanging on where to buy these things, and I hope you have a good growing season. Until next time, I hope y'all have a good day, and thank you for watching.